I've been saying this for a while, but I really do think the time is coming. Um, I've been saying that homelessness is going to be normal. There's going to be a lot of people that are homeless. Like, just about the average person you run into is going to be homeless. You're going to be like, what is going on? You yourself might even become homeless. People weren't listening before, and they're probably not going to listen now, but I'm being obedient to God because this is what God told me to do. I write my dreams down. So I either have them written physically on paper or I put them in my notes. And I have a binder that I hadn't written in or been in a while because I've been putting in the notes in my phone. And he told me to go back to this binder. I had a dream. It was November 3rd of 2024. And just so you can see, and this was actually the time that I was homeless. And obviously, I'm no longer homeless. I was homeless for a year, not from that point, but um, now I'm almost a year into not being homeless. So you might want to listen if you understand what's going on in the world. So in this dream, it was chaos going on, and things were super unfair. Like nobody could get help. Nobody was cared about. Everybody was being overlooked, stepped over, um, and the only people that were basically like running the world, I guess, would be people that had favor. And I was one of them people that had favor. There was extremely terrible living conditions. There were people literally living anywhere they could for shelter. There was multiple disasters going on, like hurricanes and tornadoes, fires, all kinds of things that you can tell like storms had just been repeatedly hitting stuff over and over. No debris was being cleared. It was just filthy everywhere. Getting towards the end of this dream, there was one of the last scenes of me being in a grocery store, and I fully remember being in a grocery store and people were looking at me weird and not wanting to be bothered at me. They was looking at me like they had an issue with me. They didn't even know me. Like they were, it was people laying on the ground, just fighting for their life. Like, and I'm walking around trying to find what I need, and they hate me. But as I'm walking through the store, there's somebody or something following me. It was mad small. It was like 3 feet tall. It looked like when somebody is like on their knees and they put shoes on their knees and they put a jacket on to make themselves look like a kid. They looked like that and they were following me. And every single time that
All right. All right. All right. All right. Oh my goodness, man. She just can't get to the point. And I'm like waiting for her to get to the point, and then she goes and gets distracted by her air condition. Listen, you had a dream. Okay, that's in your imagination. I do agree that in 2026, homelessness is gonna skyrocket. Of course. But it's for reasons. It's not for her dream. It's for reasons that either people have done to themselves or people are just choosing and prioritizing. What I'm noticing is it's a lot of people choosing and prioritizing things for right now that they want and forsaking long-term stability, forsaking their responsibilities, forsaking sustainability ultimately. And that's what comes down to it. They're also sabotaging themselves by taking on more than they can handle, especially one of the biggest culprits is when you're having a bunch of kids. And sure, maybe her dream is aligning with right now that she had in 2024. Cool, I don't know. But the bottom line is there have been cuts. Okay? That's what it ultimately comes down to. What we found is that a lot of people were relying on something that they thought they would have the luxury of relying on for a lifetime. And now that's been cut. And so what happens is there's going to be some residual effects that come because of those cuts. I.e., if you were relying on this thing and at the same time you were taking on things that you can't handle by yourself and choosing that you want to do it single as well, now we're going to see if you can really handle it, if you're really capable. But what we're finding is a lot of people are folding, or just people feel entitled and they're just deciding they're going to just stay in place and they're not going to do anything. And instead, they're just going to come online and complain about it and not try to actually further or better their situation. And so they F around and find out that you're not a child anymore. You can absolutely end up on the street, and that's what's happening. People are people are still thinking that something's gonna come in and save them, and because ultimately, what it really comes down to is people never really thought that they could be homeless, like that was even a possibility. Like, nah, that's not gonna happen. I can't be homeless. Not me. That's for them. It's not for me. You can be homeless. Make certain decisions if you want to. Make certain decisions if you want to. Y'all, before we get back into it, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually does help out more than you know.
My kids was tripping, but every single time I would turn around, they would stop and they would act like they weren't following me. They would act like they weren't coming for me. Um, and then I finally got to an aisle. I found what I was looking for, and I'm holding it. I'm looking at it, reading over it as you do with something that you're looking for, and um, they're getting closer and closer, and I could feel like obviously heavy energy approaching me. So I turned because they got closer than they ever did before. I turned, and they ran away. They ran away fully. Actually, now that I think about it, they did have little legs. But they were really tiny. It was weird. Let me see. Okay, now here's where it starts to get more and more important. After the fact, I leave the grocery store. Obviously, I find what I need. And this time, you can just get what you need and go because everything's ransacked, everything's run down. There's no workers, there's no electricity, there's no nothing. So I walk back out, and now I see somebody I know in a car. They pulled up in a car, and they talking to somebody who's like 6 feet tall, and it just so happens to be the thing that was following me. That was 3 feet is now 6 feet, and they talking. And when I get over there, um, I guess I don't know what that was. Um,
So remember, y'all, she said she was homeless, and she just got out of homelessness, I guess, a year ago. Is it any secret why she might have ended up homeless? She appears to be a single mother, because what we found out now is that she has kids, and which you're taking that on by yourself. So yeah, that could happen if you're not really like that. And by like that, I mean you're ready to be able to get it out the mud, and you're prepared to work as much as possible. And she doesn't seem like she's like that. Because also, what we can look at is look at what she's focusing on. It's 2026, and she still remembers a dream of people with little legs and long bodies following her in the grocery store from 2024. So not only are you focused on the past, but you're focused on fiction that you created in a dream in the past. This isn't the type of reflection we're talking about. Y'all are reflecting on made up fantasies. And I think this is enlightening because when we see a lot of people making a lot of these decisions, doing a lot of these things to where we're like, what was going through your mind where you thought that made sense? And now we see they're in fantasy land. They don't even understand, like, this is the real world. This is the real world. And while you're in fantasy land, you're still making these permanent decisions that are going to be lasting and that are going to actually require a degree of practicality while you get to be in your fantasy in fictional wonderland, remembering dreams from 2024, and then coming on TikTok to tell it, getting distracted when your kids walk in the room.
and I say that with like being like some type of beastly animal or something because I don't remember the face. I don't remember ever seeing facial features. It's like a hood and darkness within the hood, if that makes sense. There's no face, not from what I can see. Um, so yeah, I walk over because I'm like, nah, because I put two and two together. I'm like, no, you were just following me. Why is you talking to her? So they like, okay. When I get over there, the figure I'm gonna call it, they was like, oh, I was introducing myself, but they the person in the car was saying that you already told them about me or something. Mind you, I didn't even get no chance to talk to this person, so how would you know that? Yeah, I don't remember in the dream talking to this person prior before they came. But yeah, I was weirded out by that because I'm like, first of all, you just transformed into being 3 feet from 6 feet, and now you're approaching somebody else. By this point, you're probably like, how does this?
Notice this video was supposed to be about in 2026, homelessness is going to skyrocket. That's what I thought I was getting. But we've spent more time in this dream or in this video talking about freaking dwarfs in the woods and 3 feet people. See, that's probably why she's single. She probably had a dream about her ex or whatever. And, oh, I had a dream about this. I know it's real. You did it. Maybe you're just crazy.
All makes sense, and why is this relevant? Because this is what's about to be going on for real. People are going to be homeless everywhere, and we've been
There
telling
we go.
people, you really need to find God for real, and actually have a true relationship with God, with Christ Himself. Because all of this religion, all this, oh, I'm gonna just put on an act and think nobody's gonna notice. Everybody's gonna view me as righteous. I'm gonna go around down talking everybody else, making it seem like I'm holier than thou. All of that needs to stop, and God is going to be humbling everybody. What does it say? Every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. We get in there. We get in there. Because I've been saying this, and this is probably still gonna be brushed over because that's what TikTok does. It's not gonna want nobody to really hear the truth. This is how people already act towards me now. This is how people have always acted towards me, and it's really getting to an all-time high. People are heated at the fact that I carry the presence of God with me because I carry the spirit of truth. That's one thing people mess up on is the honesty in the situation. It was never about being perfect, but all about being honest. That's a saying that I have because people get so caught up in, oh, I need to be doing all this performing. I have to go to church. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to. God didn't force me to do nothing. God forced me to do absolutely nothing. He shows you information. He gives you a choice, and it's your choice or not. The reason why this is becoming alarming is because I'm going over my dreams and I'm putting two and two together. This person, I found out, I want to say yesterday, is in the hospital. The person that was in my dream had to go to the hospital from passing out. Mind you, God just told me to go over this dream before this happened. I was like, nah, because now I'm trying to figure out, okay, so whatever was following me couldn't get me, so it tried to go to somebody else. And this is, even though this dream is old, now this is the second because recently I had a dream like this right before New Year's. Oh my God, I don't have much time, but I'm gonna really try to get in here. Right before New Year's, I had a dream that this person I used to be friends with came to my door. I was in my childhood house. I was only with a couple people in there. We had some plans. We was getting ready to do some big moves or whatever.
So it's no wonder she finally had a dream hit. She had a dream finally in her mind hit like the lottery. Like, oh, everything finally aligned. But come to find out, she's finna talk about another dream. You have a dream every night for 365 days. And then now you finally had to go back 2 years to try to create a coincidence from a dream from that long ago that finally, I guess, transpired. And you're like making things fit. You don't got better things to do. What are you doing? What are you doing to make sure that you will never be homeless again? That's what I want to know. We're not finishing this video. I'm sorry. I just can't. But I'm curious what these comments say. Okay. There's really no comments. It's only like 8 or 9. And they're not really talking about nothing. One person says, real, the only reason I'm no longer homeless is because I am letting my scary dad control me financially. The reason I'm no longer homeless is because I'm letting my scary dad control me. It sounds like that's what you want to do then. Sounds like it's working. She talking about, I'm sorry, you have to deal with that. So let me get this straight. Somebody said in the comments, I'm no longer homeless because my scary dad is controlling me financially, i.e., most likely holding you accountable. And you literally admitted that's the reason you're no longer homeless. You were. And then when he basically took control of your finances, that's when things turned around and you weren't on the streets anymore, which means you were just doing what you wanted to do, which is what I was saying In this video, it's not going to come down to her little projection or her little omen of what's going to happen. We're just seeing what happens cause and effect when you just impulsively spend and when you can't control your desires. And now you got somebody in the comment section talking about the reason I'm no longer homeless. I'm my scary dad. Well, if he wasn't scary, then would you even do what he said? And what's in your best interest? And then they talking about, sorry, you have to deal with that. And now they're calling it, I didn't even see this part. It says, I can attest, I've gotten away from financial abuse a few times, so it's possible. I'm praying you get away out soon. Financial abuse. See, and this is why you just got to let people dig themselves. You done got somebody off the street by helping them get their finances in order. Some people will probably say Dave Ramsey is scary, the way he talks to some people, just bluntly. But it's called tough love. And especially if it's common sense. You can't do math? You know how to do math. So why you couldn't see that the math wasn't mathing? Why you couldn't subtract your expenses from your revenue and then keep the difference or spend the difference, but ideally even try to save a little bit of the difference? I tell you. But y'all, we'll leave it there for today. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second and it actually helps out more than you know. Also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button, then it shows the points. And since I am a smaller content creator, we actually get more points per hype. And then also Patreon's link below if you want to see self-improvement content as well. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.